Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of my lure fishing only account. The goal of this account is to reach 100% in the lure fishing skill and get some trophies on the way. In the last episode we managed to get to 24% lure fishing skill and also unlock the fishing tool. This episode's goal is to buy some new gear and make the most out of the tool that we just unlocked. This is for all my YouTube members. Make sure to join. Let's continue where we left off in the last episode. The reason why I bought the fishing tool in the last episode is because this gives us the ability to craft our own fishing leaders. And leaders are very important. Fluorocarbon leaders can save you from losing your lures and they also boost the bite rate. But if we want to craft some leaders, we need to make some more money. We need silver to buy a fluorocarbon line and swivels. Let's go to Belaya to catch our first few Graylings and maybe even a brown trout. And we have arrived on Belaya for the first time ever. What an awesome low level map. But first things first, before we go fishing, let's go to the administration tent and buy ourselves a map. This is the most important thing you want to buy if you unlock a new water body. I think right now we should collect some cash and buy the Spiker 2 018 because this lure is almost always hot on Belaya River and it will give us way more money than any of the lures that we have right now in our collection. The first spot I'm going to try is at 6831. We will use retrieval speed 30 and for the lure Ikilia 006. The thing is, this lure might not be very good over here, but we want to test it out. Since we don't have any of these lures in our inventory right now that are very good on Belaya, we need to find one lure from our inventory which works very well, and hopefully we can then catch a few nice Graylings and brown trout, sell them, or maybe even fill up a cafe order and buy ourselves the spiker lure that we really want. And here we go, we have our first brown trout on the lure. Look at this brown trout, under 200 grams, so it's not the market fish, but it's still fine because catching brown trout is always very awesome. If you catch a brown trout which is a marker fish, this means they have the green tick next to the name. This means you made a nice lump of cash. And by the way, we have another fish on already. I was just going to say that if you keep catching marker brown trout, you will be swimming in cash in absolutely no time. So let's see what kind of a fish this is. It seems like another brown trout and this one seems to be a teeny tiny bit bigger, but is it the marker? We will see. No, it's not. It's 300 grams, so 100 grams more. I mean, if this keeps going, then within like 10 fish, we should have a brown trout that's 1.3 kilos. What an awesome perch we have on the hook right now. It's only 235 grams, but if there will be a perch cafe order, then I'm definitely going to fill that up because cafe orders, they give the most bang for your buck. Okay, so all of these cafe orders seem pretty hard, but I think the one that we can complete is the chop cafe order. And here we go, we have another fish on the hook. This lure works pretty well right now, but the sad thing is that we keep catching these small fish all the time. Perch was quite small, the trout have been quite small, and this seems like another not marked brown trout, but this one is a good one because it gave us some fishing percentage. So now we are sitting at 24.3%. So I'm just going to move down on this coast. I just want to see if I can catch a fish from somewhere else. Maybe the size is different, maybe the species is different. Just keep an eye out on the coordinates on the bottom right. If I have moved, then you can go to the same spot. I will not switch the lure, I will not switch the retrieval speed, so everything is the same, but just the spot will change. Would you look at that, another fish on. I switched the lure, but don't really bother switching the lure, it doesn't work that well over here, and it's another tinier fish. But I also have a question for you guys while we reel in this fish. Do you guys want me to make shorter videos or longer videos? Which means longer videos, there will be more clips, more footage, more talking, or do you want me to make shorter videos which contain a lot more information but they have been packed down? So I don't know, like 15-minute episodes, or do you want me to keep them like 20 or 30 minutes? It's up to you. If you can let me know in the comments, I would very much appreciate it. What to use? I think I'll go back to the Ikilia lure. Here we go. I think we've done it. I think we have caught our first marker fish on Belaya River and it seems to be a Grayling. It is also our first Grayling and it's a marker, so maybe this is the spot where we should stay for a bit and make some cash. I think this Grayling is maybe like 400, 500, 600 grams. It seems like a pretty decent one. It's by no means a behemoth, but yeah, 450 grams. It is a very nice Grayling and I take that any time of the day. And here we go, another decent Grayling. I think this is the spot where we will be making money and this is the spot that will also help us get the nice lure that we want to get. And also, hey, spin fishing percentage, we are now at 24.4%. I really wonder what kind of a percentage we will end up on after this episode. Maybe 30%? Maybe that's too big of a jump, but I guess we will see. Fishy, where are you? Oh, and we have something big on. Okay, this is a surprise. I don't know what kind of a fish it could be. It's moving pretty slow, and usually on Belaya, from my experience, if you have something finding one that moves fairly slow is either a chub, so chub have the zoomies but not all the time, and the other very slow moving fish is usually the grayling. And since we've had grayling over here from this spot, it could be a grayling, and on that note it should be a big one. Definitely our new BB and possibly some good cash. But now the only thing that we need to do is get this grayling in our net, because yeah, we just saw it. It is definitely a grayling. This should be a kilo maybe, I would guess, but we will see. Yes, 1.22 kilos, our biggest grayling ever, and definitely it gave us so much EXP, some spin fishing percentage, and it will be worth loads of silver. Let's catch a few more. And we have such a small trout on the hook right now. Nevertheless, still a very cool fish to catch. I especially like catching brown trout in real life. If you guys haven't seen my real life fishing channel, then go check it out. In my latest video, I went fishing for brown trout on the last day of the season and caught a very nice specimen. Here we go, another fish on the hook. The bite rate over here isn't the worst, it isn't also the best, because we're not using the best lure that we could be using, but we're catching fish, and that is all that matters right now. We didn't have anything for the past like 2 hours in game time, and now we have a very nice fish on, and this seems to be a brown trout, and this is definitely our new personal best brown trout. I wouldn't say it's pushing a kilo mark, but it's definitely getting around there, and this brown trout is probably worth loads of silver. Oh yeah, this is a nice brown trout. 716 grams, 34 centimeters. And here we go, another one just like that after the previous fish. 737 grams, so it's just slightly bigger than the last one. Absolutely happy with this fish. By the way, my personal best brown trout from Estonian rivers is 56 centimeters, and I'm not really sure if in this game that brown trout would be a trophy size, but I mean, one day when we catch a brown trout trophy on this account, then we will know if 56 centimeters is enough for a trophy, or maybe it's even up to the 60 centimeter mark to get a trophy brown trout on Belaya river. And what a way to end up the evening. We have another very nice brown trout on the hook. This is our third one from this spot. This spot has produced some wonderful fish, some very nice grayling and very nice brown trout. But now let's go and sell our fish. Unfortunately, there isn't any cafe orders that we can fill up, but we can definitely sell all our fish to the fish market. And by fishing on Belaya, just exploring around, we made 57 silver, which is not too bad at all, because if we combine this with the money that we have currently, we can go and buy ourselves the spiker lure. Unfortunately, on Belaya river, this spiker 218 is not in stock, and this means that we need to go and hop to a different water body, because the shops vary on every different map. And the best map to unlock is the Volkov river, because on Volkov shop almost every time there is everything in stock that you want to go and buy. But this time we are heading to Winding Rivulet, and we're going to get this lure from Winding. Just make sure if you go and travel to a different water body, you have enough money to go and travel back to the water body that you want to go fishing at. So let's go and buy this miracle lure, the Spiker 2018. As you can see, we have 27 silver left, which means we have enough money to travel back to Belaya. Now the next thing that we need to do is make enough money to buy the fluorocarbon line and swivels. Then we can craft some leaders and put our rod, our lure and our skills to the test to catch the biggest fish that we could. It's time to make the first cast with the newly acquired lure, and I'm back at the beginning spot. This spot seemed to be pretty good. Oh, and we actually have a big fish on right away. As soon as my lure touched the water, something hit the lure. As you can see on Belaya right now, as I said, the Spiker 2018 is a hot lure, and this works almost everywhere on this map. So now that we need to do is catch this fish. We need to have this fish in our net ASAP. By the way, if you're fighting bigger fish, make sure you have your tension up. Don't let the line go too slack, because then you might lose the fish. But also make sure you don't put the tension too up, because this way you might get broken off, and this is the worst. If the fish will break your rod, your reel, your line or a leader, then you're in trouble, because this way you will lose your lure. If your rod breaks, then you're absolutely doomed. You need to buy a new rod. But this looks like a beautiful grayling, definitely our new PB, and I would say it's well over a kilo. Yes, almost kilo and a half. That is an absolutely beast of a grayling. Imagine catching a grayling like that in real life. That would be so cool. Could this be the smallest brown trout of this episode? I think it is actually, at 96 grams. But hey, it's still a good one, because it gave us some skill percentage, and we take that. And with 25%, we have unlocked jigging. At the end of this episode, we should go and try out some jigging and see if we can go and catch something cool with it. Looks like we have another grayling on and a pretty decent one. This spot seems to produce more grayling than brown trout, but it's totally fine because they give the same amount of catch pretty much and also pretty much the same EXP. This one doesn't seem to be a mammoth of a grayling, but still a very nice market fish. Every market fish over here is good. And this one is totally a lot bigger. 724 grams is a nice specimen. Now let's go and catch another one. And it seems like we have another fish on. I wanted to say that this setup that we are using right now is handling all of these fish pretty well. Even when we caught that big grayling before, which was almost 1.5 kilos, it wasn't too hard of a fight and we actually got the fish in fairly easily. So this setup that you get for just leveling up is definitely worth using. 427 grams and plus 0.2% to the spin fishing skill. That is amazing. More percentage, let's go. And currently we have a job on. As you remember, we have a job cafe order that we can fill up, but this job is definitely not up for the job yet because it's only 450 grams. We need way bigger ones, but hopefully from this spot we will catch job that are big enough for the cafe order, and then maybe we can fill up the cafe order. I saw the fish that we have on like a few seconds ago, and this is the fish that you should be afraid of on Belaya River. This is an asp, and this fish is absolutely notorious. It will spool you, it will pull you out of your line, it will go out of its way to make your day miserable. So if you hook into one, you're almost getting spooled, just relog. And what do we have here? Another grayling, which gave us some skill points. Get the camera ready and hold on to your hats because this is a monster of a fish. As you can see on the bottom, we can see that the bar is going straight to the orange zone, which means that the fish is fighting very hard and we have our friction up. It's also taking me to the red. I don't want to put my friction up to the max to reel in the fish as soon as possible or in the easiest way, because that way we can get snapped off. But as you can see, this one is a behemoth. This is our new personal best brown trout. It's almost a kilo. It gave us so much EXP and such a good amount of spin fishing percentage, because 0.2% is the max that you can get from one fish. Unfortunately, we did not increase our earnings compared to the previous day, but don't forget that we don't have our leaders ready yet. 51 silver is not too bad, so let's go and keep grinding. I have switched the spot. I went to 72.62 just to test out if there's any active spots or any active fish nearby this rock, and it seems like we're catching chub over here, which is amazing because we need to catch more chub for the cafe order. And this spot, in one of my trophy log episodes, I almost caught a trophy grayling from over here. It was so close, like less than 100 grams off the trophy size. What a nice job. I think we only need 2 more now just to fill up the cafe order, so hopefully we'll get lucky and get 2 more chub. Here we go. This is why we came here. This is why we came to fish at this rock. We have a very nice fish on right now. I've actually been fighting with it for quite some time now. It's slowly showing some signs of giving up, but definitely it's not coming in yet. Maybe in a bit? Huh? It's acting a bit weird. It's a grayling. Look at this grayling. It's absolutely massive. Please don't tell me this is a trophy grayling. I don't even have a trophy grayling on my trophy log account. Look at this behemoth of a fish. Let's see how big this fish is. Okay, it's 2.978 kilos. It's almost 3 kilos. The trophy size for grayling is 3.2 kilos, so we were off by 200 grams. I wouldn't call this a troll trophy, but it's definitely very close to the trophy size. Imagine if we caught a trophy this early into the video. That would be crazy. Unfortunately, the chop cafe order has ended, but we will sell all of our fish for 40 silver, which is not bad for only 10 minutes of fishing. Now that we have a good amount of cash, let's go and buy the fluorocarbon line and swivels. We will get the 6.2 kg fluorocarbon line and 4.8 kilo swivels. You can craft leaders from the crafting menu. We will create 60 centimeter 4.8 kg fluorocarbon leaders. Just keep in mind that your leaders will have the strength of your weakest link. Now this is the special moment. I have been waiting for this since episode 1. We can finally go and equip our 60 centimeter fluorocarbon leader that we crafted by ourselves. The 60 centimeter versus 20 centimeter, there is a difference because the 60 centimeter one will have a better bite rate than the one that is only 20 centimeters long. Don't ask me why. And what is that fish? The new leader gave us a weird fish by the looks of it. Oh yeah, I haven't got this one in a long time. Make sure to subscribe. And that seems like another very decent fish. We are doing very good so far. If this is a chub nearly a kilo, it will give us a nice amount of cash. Hopefully thanks to this leader we will start catching more and more bigger fish, because this is where the money's at on Belaya. This is amazing. Something absolutely huge has bitten the lure. I don't know what kind of a fish it is. It's fighting semi-hard, semi-fast, but on the same time quite slow. It's very hard to guess what it could be, but I just hope it's not an asp, because if this is an asp, we might be here for a very, very long time before we have this fish in our net. So I guess I see you guys in a bit. Yeah, is that okay? I think it is. And 2 hours of in-game time later, we have this fish next to the shore. It is a behemoth of a chub, but I don't think this is a trophy. It's another fish that is very, very close to the trophy size, but it doesn't hit the trophy threshold. So let's net this fish. This should also give us level 13, which is very, very cool to see. Level 13 doesn't unlock us any new maps, but we are getting closer and closer to unlocking Quarry Lake. This also gave us 0.1% spin fishing skill, which is absolutely welcome any time of the day. I guess this spot has turned into a chub spot 100%. I haven't had almost any grayling or brown trout from over here, but mostly just chub after chub and some nice chub. Don't get me wrong, I'm very happy about catching chub, and if we keep catching this chub at 1 kilo, as I've said before, we will be swimming in cash in no time. I mean, it's not as good as catching grayling and brown trout, but if you find an active spot like this and it's a fun one which might also give you a trophy, you should definitely stay there and keep fishing at that spot. So let's get this fish in our inventory and see how big it is. It's nearly 2 kilos. Okay, actually I thought this was gonna be like a kilo fish, but 2 kilos? That is crazy. Okay, this is quite funny. I was talking the whole time about catching almost only chub from over here and rarely getting any grayling or any trout, and we actually have a big grayling on just after I said that almost. So I think I should complain more into the microphone. Maybe the game is listening. I mean, Google is listening. Why wouldn't the game be listening, right? So let's hope we get this fish in our net. Let's not lose it. I'm going to try to hook into it many times during the fight while holding down control on the keyboard and pressing the right click on my mouse. So this way you can set the hook on the fish, and if you do that multiple times during the fight, I've heard that this will increase your chance of actually netting the fish. Now let's see, how big is this grayling? I think it's my top 2. Yeah, definitely top 2. 1.8 kilos. Another chubby chub. Well, would you look at this? I haven't been spooled on this account like this ever before. So I have a feeling that we have an asp on, and this means that we will definitely go on a road trip around this island, because this asp will most likely take us to the left side or the right side as it pleases. So this means we will have to run with it and pray and hope, and I don't know, have all the talismans up that we don't get broken off or the fish doesn't run us out of line. So I'm currently holding my rod to the left side because I don't want the fish to go more to the left, because if this fish goes to the left, then I'm definitely getting spooled. There is almost no island left to the left side where I could walk on, and I don't have much line on this reel. As you can see, my reel is burning right now on the small indicator on the bottom of the screen, and you don't want to do that because this way you will damage your reel so badly. So if this happens, you just want to put your friction brake down onto the lower setting and hope that the fish will leave you alone for a bit and give you a bit of a slack. Okay, now this is the worst part. I have to walk through this, keep the tension up the whole time. As you can see, I've lost all tension right now because as they're very unpredictable, they will do the zoomies and you will lose the tension right away. Also by walking, you will slack your line, which is not great. And this is one of the biggest problems on Belaya when you have a weak setup. This is also a big problem for losing the big fish. But hopefully we don't get spooled. As you can see, we don't have much line left on the spool. We have less than, I think, a quarter of line that we had. This means that we have to be very careful over here right now. This was one hell of a fight, but thankfully the fish is tired and I am slowly reeling it in. It took me all around the island, and at one point, I'm not kidding, I had maybe like 3 pixels of line left on the reel, but thank God this fish just got tired and we absolutely nailed it. We did so good, but let's see how big of an asp this fish is, or if that is an asp. I think it's an asp. No, I think that's a brown trout. There's no way. Did we actually catch a brown trout, like a huge one? Wow, that is such a big brown trout. I'm not really sure if this could be a trophy or not. I've never caught a brown trout trophy, but this looks like an absolute behemoth of a fish once again. 2.7 kilos. That is nice because the brown trout trophy size is 3 kilos. We're only like 300 grams off the trophy size. It also gave us some spin fishing percentage, which I think is pretty predictable unpredictable because this is a very special fish. This episode has been great. We caught so many big fish. We got a grayling that was nearly a trophy. Now we got a brown trout that was nearly a trophy. And we also got a chub that wasn't too far off the trophy size. Now let's sell all of our fish and make a quick, nice, easy 93 silver. So there is this another spike lure that is good on Belaya, the Spiker 2016. The thing with this lure is, since it is dark colored, it works very well during the nighttime. So if we want to keep fishing during the dark hours, we can try to use this 016. But sadly, it's not in the stock, so we have to go to Winding Rivulet to buy it once again. And now in the morning hours, we have a nice grayling on the hook, 1 kilo and some nice spin fishing percentage. I absolutely love the early hours of fishing on Belaya because the early hours are the best time on Belaya when you can catch some nice big fish, or the evening times. During the daytime, it usually isn't that hot. I think at this point it's pretty safe to say that these fluorocarbon leaders have gotten us way bigger fish and given us also a better bite rate. So this is one of the reasons why I wanted to unlock the fishing tool as soon as possible, even though we had no money, and the fishing tool is a fairly expensive piece of equipment. But thanks to this fishing tool, we can now craft leaders. We won't lose our lures to pike as often because without the leader, there is a great chance that the pike will bite through your line and you will lose your lure. And lures are not very cheap, as you can see. I don't know what do we have on right now, but definitely a big fish, maybe an asp, maybe something different, but I'm very happy about whatever is on the hook right now because my investment into the fishing tool has paid off and it will be paying off for the rest of this series. I've been fighting with this fish for so long and I think finally it's giving up because we have it pretty close to the shore. I still don't know if this is a grayling or a chub, but I think it could be a grayling. Oh no, we lost it. We've just lost this absolute behemoth of a fish. It took us like 2 hours of in-game time to reel the fish in almost, and then we lose it like 10 meters off the shore. Well, that is a shame. I hope this won't happen again. We have 2 skill points available right now, and I want to put these 2 skill points into using spinnerbaits because we want to get trophies on spinners, and we will be using spinners for quite some time, especially if we fish on Belaya River. We need to use spinners because spinners are the best kind of a lure over here. You know, you can make an exception for poppers, but for poppers you need like 60%. And here we go, another nice grayling, 600 grams. Hopefully this is the day where we make the most amount of money because we haven't had any like very good days money wise, and we definitely need to make money because in the next episode I want to buy some new gear. An asp. Ooh, a grayling, a spooling fish. I think we can skip forward and see what kind of a fish it is, and it's a chub and a big one. This one is a very nice chubby chub. Let's net this fish with our short net. Actually no, it's you know, well above average net, but we definitely need to buy a bigger net. So actually 0.2% spin fishing. I did not expect to get that, but yeah, we need to buy a bigger net because this net is very short and it's hard to net all of these fish. With the bigger net it's way easier to do that. Another 600 gram brown trout, beautiful fish, 27.7%. Let's catch quickly one more fish before we go and sell the rest of our keep net. Wow, okay, I think this won't be a nice quick fish, but this will be taking me quite some time actually. And a few minutes later we have the fish nearby the shore. It is another very nice chub. We've had quite a lot of big chub in this episode if I start to think about it, so hopefully we'll have another chub cafe order soon. 2.9 kilos, that is a behemoth. And here we go, we made 83 silver in this one day, but we want to reach the 100 mark at least, because at least 100 silver is good, but you want to get even more, maybe like 200 silver per day over here, which would be absolutely amazing for the account. What a nice brown trout, and an absolutely amazing grayling, and another pretty nice brown trout. It's a market fish, so it's a good one. The funny thing is that grayling and brown trout both were way bigger than this brown trout. They gave me no spin fishing percentage, but this guy decided to give me some spin fishing percentage. Okay, another nice brown trout. If this trend continues, then this might be the day where we make at least 100 bucks in 1 hour. Actually less, because we won't do any fishing during the nighttime. Thank you, Mr. Chubb. I will cherish your sacrifices today. It started absolutely amazingly, but it ended up horribly and we made 61 silver. I was waiting for that 100 silver day. And now it's time to craft some more tea because I have run out of all the tea we crafted in one of these episodes. I need to make, I think, at least like 100 portions of tea. This will last me, I would say, maybe like 10 in-game days, maybe less, maybe more. It really depends what kind of a fishing we're going to be doing. Will this fish get me to level 14? This will be the moment of truth. No, I don't think it did. 870 XP. I guess we need to get at least one more fish if it's a decent one. If it's a tiny one, might need 2, maybe 3, maybe even 4. 700 grams exactly on the dot. This fish got me to level 14. It doesn't unlock any new maps. Maybe it unlocks some new equipment, but unfortunately there is no chart which will tell me if it did unlock me any new gear or not. We are so close to 30% spin fishing, only 0.4% to go. We got a nice amount of silver for this day of fishing. There is finally a cafe order that I can fill up. I am so excited. Let's go fishing. Oh my, we're so close. Only 0.3% to go. Only 0.2% to go. So pretty much any fish might get us to 30% if it gives us 0.2% spin fishing. We can definitely use this grayling for the cafe order, but hopefully if this one is way too big for the cafe order, yeah, it's 1.2 kilos, but we need grayling that are 800 grams. Hopefully get some grayling that are closer to 800 grams so we can sell this one to the fish market and use the fish that are closer to 800 grams for the cafe order. And this trout will be going straight to the cafe order. We need trout that are above 500 grams, and this one is 506 grams, which is pretty much perfect actually. Is this the grayling we need to fill up the cafe order or not? It is 800 grams. That's great. So now if we don't catch a grayling that's above 800 grams, we have at least 2 grayling which we can use to fill up the grayling cafe order. Now let's get the brown trout that we need. And here we go. This brown trout should be above 500 grams. Maybe it's even way bigger. Let's see. Yeah, 736 grams. So technically we can fill up these 2 cafe orders, but let's fish for a bit more and see maybe we get some smaller grayling. And it also gave us some spin fishing percentage. So now we only need 0.1% to reach 30%. This grayling weighs 777 grams and it gave us 666 EXP. This is so odd. Ain't no way I just got a pike from Belaya. This fish is not very common to get from over here. And this is it. We have reached 30% spin fishing. This unlocks us 2 things from the skill tree, but these things are not very useful for us for now because we are not going to be using them. The next thing that we want to unlock is the 3-way rig or fishing with wobblers, but the bait casting reel and the bait casting rod, they're not really anything special that I want to get. Time to make some money. I filled up the brown trout cafe order for 58 silver, grayling order for 70 silver, and sold the rest of the keep net for 49 silver, which means in total we made 177 silver, which is exactly what we had hoped for. Since we finally have the money, I will buy the longer net. This one is 3 meters, but the one in our inventory I think is only 1.5 meters. Now let's go to our inventory and delete this net. This one is actually 2 meters instead of 1.5 meters, so I'm sorry about that, but you want to delete the old net so your character will use the new 3 meter net. I came to Winding Rivulet to buy the Spiker 2016 because we have quite a nice amount of cash and I want to spend some of this hard earned cash for some more gains. I have a feeling that this will be another wild ride, so currently I'm just trying to survive this fish pulling me. I'm going to aim my rod towards the right most of the time most likely, so the fish keeps to the left towards the end, so there's a mountain it can't swim too far off, but if it goes way too far to the right side or to the left side, as I said earlier, I might get spooled. Let's finally see what kind of a fish it is. I did see the fish jump out of the water a few times and I think it was a brown trout, and now if I'm looking at it, it's definitely a brown trout and another behemoth of a brown trout. So this could be the second or first biggest brown trout of this episode. I'm not very sure, but I guess we will see in a bit. And also we can use our new landing net, which is 3 meters long. We can net the fish from much further away, but this is a big brown trout. For some time I thought it was gonna be an asp. 2.644 kilos. What a beautiful fish. Time just flies by. We're already level 15. We just got to level 14 and somehow already level 15. I don't know how that happened, but one thing that I do know is that this was definitely a good hour. We fished during the dark time, during the light time, and we made 127 silver. Finally, a good keep net without any cafe orders, so I'm very happy about this. I decided to go and fish a bit more to make some money so that we can go and try out some jigging. I mean, we don't have money for any very good gear, so I'm going to buy a very cheap setup for jigging and see maybe we can catch some Volgasander or something else from Winding Rivulet. But first we need to do some cooking because I'm nearly out of tea again. So if you want to follow along and have some fun like I do, then this is the setup I will be using. this is the jig head, this is the lure. I will warn you that this jig head is way too heavy for this rod setup, but hopefully we will not break our rods, so fingers crossed. Well, this will be a sketchy cast, but our longest cast probably. Oh, we actually did cast into the bank, just absolutely over the winding rivulet. This is so weird. I did not expect this to happen. No way, this actually happened. We caught a zebra mussel on the lure. This is one of the things that was in my bucket list while creating this account. I want to catch every odd species in the game that usually isn't meant for lure fishing. So like these mussels, we have a river mussel and now also a zebra mussel. I'm very happy about this. Another river mussel. Nice. And now we have an actual fish on. As you can see, I'm getting spooled a bit because my drag was set too low, but hopefully this is a Volga sander, maybe a regular sander. We will see. The fish is very much hugging the bottom. This indicates that this is most likely a sander because this is how sander fight. They try to go to the bottom and stay on the bottom. And here we go. This is a sander. It doesn't seem to be super big, but it's not also the tiniest sander. So 558 grams. Not a lot of EXP and not their marker fish, so probably not a lot of cash as well. Let's get a bigger one. I will buy this absolutely dirt cheap rod so I can switch out my arrow rod and use this one because this one can cast the lure better and it's also meant for heavier lures. So yeah, this will be my setup. It is actually quite a relief seeing that I'm using the correct lure size for the rod, because previously I was pretty anxious that maybe I can break my rod or something worse can happen. Actually, I don't know what would be worse. Breaking the rod is the worst thing. But yeah, now I'm happy. We're using a dirt cheap rod and it's also good for this lure. So I mean, I didn't trade off anything. And we have a nice fish on once again. Seems like another sander. And while fishing over here for sander, I thought about something scary. I think I could actually hook into a catfish over here as well, because I'm fishing the deeper part and this is definitely something that I do not want on my hook. Not at all. And here we go. Almost a kilo sander. That's a new PB. Well, this is not a sander. We caught a job. That is so odd. I did not think I would get any job from that deep part, but I guess job are roaming absolutely everywhere. I decided to come back to the spawn spot and try to get some Volga sander, and look at this, 300 gram Volga sander. I don't know why, but somehow Volga sander is active at this spot right now. I also caught a few pike, which was a bit scary, but thankfully they weren't the biggest pike, which means there's no way they will spool me. 31.7%. Last money time of this episode, we filled up the lucky zebra mussel order for 18 silver and sold the rest of the keep net for 18 silver as well. So in total we made a fun, nice 36 silver. Take care, bye bye.